brick and mortar or click and order? Now, most of you would say that at least once, but probably many times, you have opted to buy a product online on a large online marketplace such as Amazon or Walmart.com that you could have just gone in person into a store and bought yourself. Well, this scenario is a perfect example of how online shopping is becoming increasingly present in all of our lives.
This leads us to the problem: to what extent does online shopping have a negative effect on consumer behaviors and habits?
Some background to the rise of online shopping is that during COVID-19, online shopping became increasingly globalized due to restrictions and quarantines put in place by governments. Duong, researcher of online trends and psychology, and Leah, online data analyst, describe how consumers find it more convenient to shop online rather than go in person to purchase their goods. Also, the world has experienced a growing digital age, and mobile phone usage is often highly associated with increased chances that someone would shop online.
According to engineering expert Chang Gray and his team of researchers, companies use various marketing techniques to target consumers to purchase more items. These include recording consumer clicks and also the use of ECGs and smartwatches to detect emotions and purchase intentions, and also the use of in-depth device learning of habits and prior purchase histories to more precisely target towards consumers. The problem with all of this is that online shopping is addicting.
A base definition of electronic marketplaces is that they are independently owned. They are also IT-enabled intermediaries that connect buying organizations with selling organizations. EMPs have been of interest because of their ability to improve market efficiency and lower market price.
Technological forecasting researcher Lee and his team of fellow researchers explain that addicted shoppers often experience consumerism and impulse buying due to the high stimulation of emotions associated with online shopping. Applied behavior analyst Lesteri and her team add to this by explaining that high levels of consumerism are often associated with low levels of self-control. Lesteri then goes on to describe that people often purchase their wants over their needs, which leads to wasteful consumer habits, and that consumerism itself is rooted in hedonistic values, where people often prioritize their pleasure over the needs of their wallets.
Because of this, we researched 2 solutions that help end the addictive nature of online shopping. Our first solution is tariffs. According to the International Trade Administration, a U.S. government agency that promotes U.S. international export, a tariff is a tax imposed by governments on the cost of imported goods.
We researched tariffs, and we believe that they would be a good solution because online businesses that import and export goods will face higher costs to operate, which would increase costs for consumers. Therefore, if costs for consumers to purchase goods are increased, they will purchase less goods online. Online retail businesses also depend on supply chain management, which involves the shipment of goods across borders. Therefore, if tariffs are in place, online sales will decrease because it will be more expensive to ship goods across borders. Tariffs also cause instability in the stock market, which is detrimental to consumer confidence when buying products online. Consumers will then start to spend less money online, decreasing stores' bottom lines.
Tariffs incentivize consumers to shop in local markets instead of online due to the prices being lower in brick-and-mortar stores. Online business expert Tisha Hedges explains that a pro of tariffs would be that consumers are more enticed to shop in local markets, which would decrease the amount of foreign labor and materials needed to carry out online shopping. However, she also explains that a con of tariffs is that if products are domestically sourced or in countries that do not allow tariffs, then people would not be redirected to in-person shopping at all.
The Reciprocal Trade Act of 2019 states that the president can put in any tariff he wants to that deals with foreign relations. This will entice consumers to purchase their goods from physical stores rather than online stores because of the additional costs on imported goods. If we advocate for and enact these tariffs, it will push consumers to buy from local American stores instead of online stores from foreign nations. However, another thing about tariffs is if we put them into place, it will strain the foreign relationships with the countries the tariffs are against. A limitation of tariffs as a solution to online shopping addiction is that after COVID-19, disabled individuals have found that online shopping is an accessible resource to buy their groceries, because after the Title III ADA regulation was put into place, it made less businesses meet the accessibility requirements. Nowadays, disabled people find that online shopping is a helpful resource to buy their necessities whenever in-person shopping is inaccessible. Tariffs would not stop disabled people from shopping online, because if they need to buy their necessities, they will have to do it from a store. And another limitation of tariffs as a solution to online shopping is that lower income people would not be able to buy the expensive online shopping prices, and they would be forced rather than coerced to shop in person. And this is not a good thing, because according to Duvarsi, a transportation planning specialist, lower income people in suburban areas often struggle with transportation whenever public transportation is unreliable. Lower income people would have a hard time accessing their physical stores in these areas where public transportation is unreliable, and also if they live in areas that are considered a food desert, which are areas where grocery options are very scarce.
The other solution we researched was restricted sales. Public relations and digital marketing professional Sapitri and her team of fellow researchers explain how companies like TikTok and Amazon use online-only sales like Prime Day, Cyber Monday, as well as other holiday sales to incentivize customers to buy from their sites rather than go in person to purchase goods. This further enables consumers to become addicted to online shopping. The EU has already placed many restrictions on online shopping sales. Their research and experience has shown that limiting sales on online shopping platforms and placing them into in-person only retail places will increase consumer desire to shop in person rather than online. And this will break consumers' bad shopping habits.
An implication of restricting online sales is that we would have to put in certain softwares into websites to prohibit online sales and save the sales for in-person shopping. And another implication is that companies would have to agree to only put items on sales in their physical stores instead of their online storefronts.
A limitation to moving all sales to in-person stores is the large crowds that they draw in. In one example, a Walmart employee died due to asphyxiation during a holiday sales event due to the overcrowding of people. In this case, employees were not trained in crowd control, and the employee was trampled due to the surge of shoppers. The second limitation is people living in remote areas, such as islands or wilderness, that cannot access public stores and participate in the sales events.
Now, our solutions may seem similar because they both redirect consumers to in-person shopping due to the prices being higher online. However, we believe that one solution is ultimately better. Although tariffs could fight against the addictive nature of online shopping, they are really only suitable for highly self-sufficient countries like the United States that don't rely on foreign relations that tariffs could potentially harm. And in the end, tariffs are an actual additional cost placed on consumers because they are carried out through taxation. So, this being said, we believe the overall better solution for online shopping addiction is restricting sales and placing them only in brick and mortar stores, because it would still incentivize consumers to break their online shopping addictions and to get out and shop in person, but it would not actually place an additional burden of cost on them like tariffs would.
I have some questions for you. Okay, Blair, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem your group identified?
I feel like Harper's research had the biggest impact on my understanding of the overall problem. Harper really focused her research on the psychology behind online shopping and the addiction that comes with it. Online shopping websites use targeted ads to really focus in on what type of consumers they're trying to advertise and incentivize to buy their products. So as these consumers see these ads, they will become more addicted and they will have like this impulsive buying thing where they use their hedonistic values buying their wants instead of their needs. And so I feel like that really helped me further understand how addictive online shopping really is.
Okay, nice, thank you. Okay, Katie Jane, give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning of Blair's findings.
Yeah, so Blair mainly looked into the social aspects of online shopping addiction and how often when you're shopping in person that people's influence on you and also online, like social trends, really change the way you buy as a consumer. So my understanding of the problem, I had never really thought about how you may be influenced to become more addicted to online shopping from like social media trends and also pressure from your peers to stay in style. And so that's what from Blair's paper really helped me understand our problem.
Thank you. And Addie, how did your group decide to include Katie Jane's perspective lens conclusion in the overall presentation?
We decided to include Katie Jane's perspective lens in the background of our conclusion, and she kind of talked about the economical aspect of online shopping and how much like it grows and kind of helps our economy. And she also mentioned that like the market has gone up about 7.4 trillion in the past year, so we decided to include it by adding it in the background of why online shopping is kind of like popular and how the growth and how much has happened in the past year.
Okay, thank you. And Harper, if you had another team member, what other perspectives or limitations could they have researched that would have made a useful contribution to the project?
I believe that if we had a fifth team member, we would have them research a kind of like online scams and how that affects consumers financially. And I believe that that would be a benefit to our problem because it could kind of build up on the things we have, like targeted marketing leading to addiction. Maybe how the scams affect consumers financially, psychologically. And I believe that we could include that in a lot of our background information of our project to explaining kind of why online shopping is addictive. And I think some things that they could have researched is, for example, elderly people. They might not be as financial or technologically savvy, so they might fall to scams more easily, like giving their credit card information to a weird website or clicking on a sketchy link.
Okay, very nice.